Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series America Premier League, brought to you by Newegg.com, of course, who joined us today. And we've got a lot of good StarCraft that's happened so far. Exciting series. Bomber, of course, in the winner's match will face off against Major. But first, we're going to start the elimination process at this point in the lower bracket match. If you lose this best of 3, you're out of Premier League for Season 3.
Yep, and it's going to be a very difficult one for both players. puCK has phenomenal PvZ, but Slam showed us earlier today that he is too a phenomenal player. We may not be that familiar with him yet. We saw him in Challenger twice. This time he made it all the way to Premier League. And he actually played just a great series against Bomber. It really gave him a run for his money. And if it wasn't for the smart changes that Bomber made in his playstyle in game number 3, it could have gone the other way around. So anything is still possible in this group. But what we do know that it's going to be impossible for both puCK and Slam to advance to the round of 16, as this is our lower bracket match and it's already live, so we can just go ahead and hop into our first game of this series, which is, of course, being played on Overgrowth. Nate,
that's right.
We got a tweet from somebody who included the hashtag WCS. Of course, we want to keep encouraging all of you to use hashtag WCS. We like reading your tweets. We like hearing about the broadcast. Someone said, I'm expecting Nate and Ro32 to squeeze in as many slick, subtle, new act promotions as possible during today's broadcast. I'm actually not very good at that, but I think that you might be able to, because you're like a little bit more of a tech nerd than I am.
Well, you know,
let's be honest.
I thought he said puns, and I was about to say, like, you know, when we look at Zerg players, every time the larva pops up, especially at the start of the game, they begin to hatch a new egg. That's all I got. That's all I got.
See, that's good. That's good. I'm impressed already. It's actually really not bad.
You know what? Now you've asked for it. I'm gonna keep my eyes open, man.
Alrighty. So while you do that, I'm gonna introduce this exciting Zerg player on the left bottom side of Overgrowth, representing the Yowie Flash Wolves, the strongest team in Taiwan. It is a Slam. Showed some phenomenal macro games earlier today against Red Bull's very own Bomber. Slam is gonna go up against our North American Protoss. We have not seen him a whole lot against Terran lately, and we've said it at the start of the day. His PvT can be a tiny bit shaky. His PvZ, however, is rock solid. If you don't, if you've not watched a whole lot of StarCraft for a while, and you watch that last series, and you're like, man, puCK is not very good. To be honest, if I watched that last series, well, you're wrong, guys. That last series wasn't really a true reflection of puCK's skill. puCK is, of course, the red Protoss on the right top side of the map. And be prepared to have your mind blown, because he is good in this matchup. Hopefully I didn't jinx him, but I don't think I did, because I think it's impossible. He's so good in this matchup, Nate, that Artosis could say that he's really good, and he's still going to win.
And before we get the Artosis tweet on stream now,
yeah.
he'll be watching and be like, well, it's time to try to intentionally curse this nerd.
All right, Dan, behave now. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. I do know that puCK's been a little bit busy outside of StarCraft. He's been moving, I think, this week actually.
Where does he live now?
He lives in North Dakota, as far as I know. Like, he's just moving across town or something like that. He said he's not it's not like an epic journey.
Okay.
But
it's really cool, because I've always wondered how life in North Dakota would be. Like, what do you do if you grow up in North Dakota?
You know, it's one of those few times where I'd say I thought that Moscow, Pennsylvania was a boring place.
Yeah.
North Dakota, I get like the impression that it could actually be less exciting, which is a good reason to watch a lot of StarCraft if you're from those places.
Do you think there's like an epic rivalry between North and South Dakota?
No. Are there enough people there to have a battle between them?
It's like, guys, like, we really want to dislike you for something. Like, well, but we have completely different interests.
Yeah, it's just, you know, those people like having out there in nature. Nice tweet from Dirty GG. Can't think of a better sponsor for WCS Newegg. Computer parts make sense, I think.
That is correct.
Usually you need computers to play StarCraft, at least as far as I know.
Yeah. Maybe in the far future we can just play it in our brain. That would be something special.
So puCK opens up, gateway expand into so he gets the Nexus straight into Forge. What do you make of this? Is puCK just going to go for a 2-base bullet? Because when I think about puCK's PvZ, I think of +2 and I think of Blink Stalkers.
Yes,
I think of lots of Stalkers.
I think of, in general, passive 3-base style, where he just goes up 3 bases, creates a good Sim City. But of course, he's not too afraid to put on a little bit of trigger pressure. This one happy little Zergling in the main base is actually a little bit frustrating. But I'm not sure if he... Oh, he's taking a lot of damage. Okay, he just wants to get that creep tumor. That makes sense. I like sniping a creep tumor. I think that's perfect. This is actually cool. I like this a lot, Nate. You know how big of a fan I am of Protoss players that put on Stalker pressure against gasless openings from a Zerg. And Slam actually opened gasless. puCK has perhaps done his homework, found a couple of ZVPs, because I don't think he did scout early on. And
I mean, he is actually getting close to killing a queen, which would be, I think, a huge pickup this early in the game. At the very least, we saw a drone attempt to leave and I would assume go start at third base, and he simply can't do that.
Like, if there would be a pylon here, and he would, okay, he's going to try to deny that again. But imagine if he has a pylon here and he wipes in 3 Stalker.
As long as he doesn't lose one, this is actually really sweet pressure so far.
I love
Needs to watch out on creep, because then that queen can catch up to that weakened one.
I just feel my...
Kills the spine!
Yeah,
100 resources down the drain. One queen
gets
dies.
a queen.
puCK, are you going to accidentally win the game?
There are a lot of Zerglings on the way. In general, you won't win the game with this unless you have a lot of gateways behind this at home. But he's doing a lot of work, and that is all that matters.
I just feel like puCK was trying to do a little bit of pressure. I don't know if he was intending to kill this much. He's like, well, maybe I'll kill a couple Zerglings, but there weren't even any to kill. And still has not lost any Stalkers. Zergling speed so far away. Yep. You mean Stalkers?
Oh my god, he has a cannon!
Where did this come from?
I saw that. I thought there was a pylon going down.
I thought it was a defensive cannon.
Wow, that actually makes it really difficult because there's only Zerglings. If he would warp in Zealots around this cannon,
the latest cannon rush ever.
Yeah. How many gateways are we on? You can transform 2 gates. If he wipes in 2 Zealots, oh, it's a lot of Zerglings. Only he had 2 Zealots. I think he's gonna try to save it though.
There's one Zealot, but the cannon will still fall.
Second Zealot. But still, it's only slow Zergling. Speed is about to get ready, so you want to be careful. But he had a Mothership core as well. So even if Speed would finish up. If puCK would have kept his Stalkers here immediately, then I think that he gets his hatchery cancel. Because then the 3 Stalkers will push out a lot of damage, will deny surface area from those Zerglings.
Oh, the Stalkers need to be careful. Those Zerglings could kill those 2 Stalkers. I think that would be a huge pickup. But puCK's taking his 3rd base right now, too. There's a lot of links. I don't think puCK can hold his 3rd.
There are not that many links. 17 links.
He's building like 20 right now, though.
If he gets 2 gateways over here, 7 roaches, then that's going to complicate things because we all know how many roaches a Zerg player can produce, even of a relatively low economy, like 39 drones. It is going to be a big commitment if he keeps making roaches, and that's what he does. Now, this game just got really interesting. I love the pressure against the gasless Zerg like that. I think it makes so much sense. I just dig it. It's stuff I like to do. Now he goes drones behind this. I actually don't think that Slam made enough units.
Do you think? I imagine he just wants to cancel the 3rd, but it's
he's not gonna get it.
It's so far along.
Yeah, he's not gonna get it.
It should be able to finish, and then there's the photon overcharge.
The only way he would have ever got it is if he would have built nothing but units, but he made 10 more drones. Now he makes 11 more drones.
The Zealot is here too to help body block against this bad boy. He can help pick off Lings. He gets around the Nexus. He's just gonna try to focus it down. Where's the photon overcharge?
He doesn't even need it, I guess. I mean, like, puCK's so patient.
I'm
with
impressed.
This kind of stuff.
I would have panicked. I would have panicked so hard that I would have spent all 200 energy and double photon overcharge my own 1 Nexus.
This is still going to get scary though, because 59 workers, of course, you know, if you can produce a lot of drones from 40, you guys don't even want to imagine how many roaches, I said drones, I meant roaches, how many roaches you can produce of 60 drones. And the robotics facility is very late for puCK, so there's no tunneling clause, there's no burrow, that's going to make his life a tiny bit easier. And in general, puCK is very, very good with force fields and just playing Stalkers. But he really needs a couple of Immortals to start dealing with what I think is going to just be a ridiculous, redonkulous amount of roaches.
We've seen puCK handle situations like this before, man. puCK, I think, currently holds, what, the WCS record for most roach per minute killed from from Season 1, I believe.
Yep, against Sen on Heavy Rain.
Yeah, that was actually crazy. He's getting Ventral Sacks. We're going to see some drops.
Yeah, I'm a tiny bit surprised then, Nate.
Definitely
not
common. Not common. You think dropping Banelings on Blink Stalkers? Because I don't imagine that puCK's going to make much more than Stalkers once his +2 gets close to completing.
No, I thought on top of the sentries to let the roaches come close, but that's not going to be the case either. Because now we see a Spire on the way, so maybe he just wants to buy time with like Harass, wants to drop a couple of roaches
Ling
in the main.
drop with Mutalisks in the main?
It's just like to buy time, I guess, for his Mutalisk transition. Interesting playstyle. Slam is playing a very, very entertaining style of Zerg. Man, this guy is just all over the place. I'm going to try to stop predicting what he does, because I've been wrong like 6 times this game. And I'm digging it, because he's surprising us. He's showing us very interesting stuff. Dark Shrine is being wiped in literally in vision of this Overlord. So I hope for Slam that he's going to check that once and he won't take too much damage of DTs. Because this is really interesting what he's showing us.
Yeah. puCK is incredibly patient with this Mothership Core energy too.
That's the way you do it, man.
actually impressed. I would have burned so much energy. I'd have like no energy. Then the Roach's Lings would just kill my Nexus because I don't have a Photon Overcharge.
It's more
available.
important that he's gonna have energy by the time that the Mutalisk arrive, of course, because that's. We all know that the Photon Overcharge can really save your butt against a lot of Mutalisk and actually make the difference between you having a couple of cannons.
The army moves out and Slam immediately moves in. There's the Photon Overcharge, but there might be too much here.
This really reminds me of how Jan and Violet likes to play when they transition into Mutalisk. It's just a whole nother level of Muta transitions where they just avoid the army. But puCK has dealt with that playstyle in the past. puCK has won best of 3s against Violet. He has won best of 3s against Jan. He is so good with just Blink Stalkers and in general understanding this game. But there are a lot of Roaches. The force fields are a little late. I don't like this fight at all for puCK. Maybe now it's a little bit better.
Okay, now improving, but he spent a lot of Sentry energy. He's got a pylon to Warp Prism now to reinforce that Roach donut.
That was an ugly donut, but it worked.
That one's hot and glazed right out of the oven, Roddy.
Yeah, well, there's something went wrong in the oven because it wasn't very round, but I do dig it. It was a beautiful trap. He got all of them stuck there in the corner, and suddenly I do like this fight, of course, a lot for puCK. Phenomenal save there. The first force fields were late, but boy, oh boy, is he good with Blink Stalkers, is he good with Sentries.
Yeah, man, the Mutalisks are coming out now, but against this many Blink Stalkers, I'm not sure how that's supposed to salvage the situation, Rotterdam.
Yep, and again he's going to try to base trade, of course, you know, one behind, go base trade, that's the Zerg line, and he's going to try to make the best of it.
You think he just could he snipe this hatch and then recall, or is he just going to recall now? I guess either is fine.
I would kill the base.
Yeah, he's even killing some of these Mutalisks too.
Oh, definitely.
And 4 Dark Templar warped in it. He's defensive to clean up. Yeah, there's no Overseer with this push from Slam, so eventually there's already a timer on this for the DTs to kill all the Roaches and Zerglings.
puCK is in absolute control of this game. A miracle has to happen for Slam to win this. Normally I prefer the Zerg in a base trade scenario, but puCK has handled this very well so far. The Dark Templars are helping out a lot. There is an Overseer now in the mix. The Cybercore will fall, so that's going to be the end for the Stalker warp-ins, but is that really an issue, Nate, when there are 39 Stalkers on the map?
I do not believe so, Kev. I do not believe. And all these drones are going to die. Slam, GG's out, and puCK is going to take the first game in our lower bracket match here today at WCS America. I think much better display of puCK's skill when you get to see him in this matchup. Just very clean, doesn't make mistakes, and even that early pressure was like, there's a little bit of that I wasn't expecting from him that kind of spiced things up a bit.
I loved it a lot as well. He scouted with a probe early on and he saw, all right, no extractors. If you're playing a gasless style, that means that my Stalkers are going to have free reign because Stalkers are not going to die against anything off creep in that phase in the game. And you guys probably have heard, if you watch a couple of the broadcasts, whenever there are these scenarios where Protoss opens up with gateway pressure, some Protoss players prefer Zealots. Of course, that is like in a later stage. I'm not trying to compare the scenarios because it's very different, but I'm always rambling on about the fact about how good Stalkers are if you're playing against a gasless Zerg, because you can just kite these Zerglings for days. It's one of the rare scenarios where Protoss can actually start kiting. It's like, yeah. So I really love what puCK did there. Got an Overlord, got a Queen, pushed the creep back as well, forced out a lot of units. He basically got so much money there for his or so much worth for his investment, I guess.
Killing the Spine Crawler with no cancel too. That's, you know, spines, I feel like whenever I play ZVP, I'm like, oh, I want to build a spine. I'm like, man, it's really expensive to get this and spam out drones at the same time. And big loss.
puCK needs a second, but it seems like both players are ready now, and we are ready to go ahead and start game number 2. Tournament Live is on the line in the final group of the round of 32 for Slam. He's been providing us with entertaining games. I felt in the last game, if puCK would have gave him 30-40 seconds more, then maybe he can actually utilize the drop that he was going for. Maybe he can keep puCK on his side of the map while transitioning into Mutalisk, and then we have a completely different ball game. We could actually take another look at that most important fight. I was really worried there at first because I felt the Roaches were getting close, but puCK really made the best of a bad scenario over there.
Yeah, especially when they tried to retreat, cutting them off and just partitioning off, 10 or so Roaches here. Fantastic. Just fantastic from puCK.
Yep. Awesome there. Good reactions. I was really worried that he wasn't paying attention. If he would have lost a couple of sentries, that would have gone different. Of course, he did have superior upgrades on his Stalkers. Either way, game number 2 is going to be played on King's Sejong Station, and I have no idea what we're going to see out of our crazy Taiwanese Zerg, but I'm still... He made an impression on me today already, Nate. I think we got a couple of tweets from people as well at home saying like, man, I'm a big Bomber fan, but I must say Slam played very well in that first series of the day, and that was a lot of fun. And I think that is really important. That is, of course, what WCS is all about as well, that we get more familiar with these dudes that we just don't know that well yet.
Yeah, man. How can you be? There's people that say it's like, oh well, everyone plays the same style every game. It's like, no, man. Slam came out and showed some. Man, he said welcome to the jam pretty much with that crazy build. He is Yoey Flashwolf Slam, our blue Zerg.
Now blue Zerg is going up against a very strong North American Protoss player, perhaps the best Protoss Zerg player in North America. It is puCK. There are not a whole lot of Zerg players out there that puCK hasn't played against and hasn't defeated at least once or twice. I really don't think there's anybody that has like a fantastic record against puCK in this matchup. Yeah. You know, if that is the case, then it's probably even from a while ago, because over the last 4 to 6 months, maybe even for a year, puCK has showed us phenomenal understanding of this matchup.
I think puCK is like one of the only, there's a very few Protosses I think in the world that have a winning record against Hyun too.
I couldn't agree more. And yeah, even when Hyun won WCS America Season 1, he only dropped 1 best of 3 in his entire tournament run, and that best of 3 was against puCK. But in the end, Hyun was able to still make it out of the group, while puCK was unfortunately eliminated of the tournament. That was back then in Germany. This is of course Ro32 online. We're getting more and more tweets. A couple of new tweets, seeing that logo on top of WCS changes things. You have a new customer. Ooh, I like. Hey, that's Archnock. He's really cool. He's actually he's one of the fans that came out to the Battlegrounds in Atlanta. And this dude that you guys see the tweet on right now, he's a little bit of a local legend when it comes to the Atlantans out there. Because he actually has like a surprising amount of Twitter followers. I was like, hey, do you do something in the community? Like, how do you have 1,500 people follow you? He's like, well, I just go to bars and I meet people. I was like, but that makes no sense.
He's the people's bard of StarCraft.
I was like, how do you get 1,500 real-life people to follow you? He's like, I don't know, I guess I'm a cool dude. And he was.
Well, that just settles it all.
we had a lot of fun hanging out with him. He's just one of those great people that came out to the Battlegrounds in Atlanta. Really fun guy.
Yeah. So when we look at this game, puCK, it seems that he's enjoying his gateway expands today. At least against Zerg.
Yep, nothing of course too crazy. puCK likes to play it safe. We saw Slam going spawning pool before hatchery, so a tiny bit worried, because on Kingston Young Station, that's probably the map where we almost see every Protoss out there open up with 9 Pine and 12, 13 Forts. It's of course, it's a 2-player map just like Overgrowth, but for some reason people enjoy cannon rushing on this map a little bit more than they do on Overgrowth. However, Slam had nothing to worry about, as puCK is not a very big cannon rusher. Cannon rushing is something you do if you're perhaps a tiny bit worried about this matchup as well, if you really want to keep the Zerg's economy in check and want to make sure that they won't go too greedy. But puCK, he just doesn't sweat anything in this matchup. I've seen Zerg players go double hedge before pool while he opens 1 gate fast expand. I would be so paranoid, I'd be so worried, I'd be like, hey man, this is really not fair, you have so many more workers than me. But puCK just always takes his time, gets 2 more gateways, moves out, forces out a few units, goes up to 3 bases, gets Blink Stalkers and +2, and turns it into a real game. I've been impressed with this PvZ so many times.
Yeah, puCK is a player that shows an extreme amount of confidence in this matchup. Not afraid when his opponent goes for that. Actually, now that I think about it, that Dark Shrine he built in the last game, I wonder if he was ever intending to even harass with DTs. Like, he wanted to make that push, and he probably anticipated a big counterattack play. Like, getting a Dark Shrine while thinking about the potential base trade, I think, is a really, really smart move.
I just think it makes a lot of sense in general. If you're close to being maxing out on Blink Stalkers with +2 and you have all these gateways, like, just adding in a Dark Shrine is really not that expensive. And you have the tech already, so, it's a minor investment and it can actually make a difference. And, worst case scenario, yes, he has detection and he's going to have an Overseer. So what? You still have it. Maybe in a later phase in the game, you can snipe the Overseer. You can make the difference. So, getting a Dark Shrine when you're on 3 bases, I feel is almost always a good decision. And I think that a lot of non-Protoss players feel like this. And I think that a lot of non-Protoss players in general are happy that Protoss players sometimes don't make a Dark Shrine, because DTs, let's be honest, they're annoying units. Yeah. That's just what it is.
puCK set up for a little bit of gateway pressure, but Zergling's speed seems to be much more quick this game. And with double Spine Crawler, Slam is saying, please do not kill my stuff at the start of this game.
And there is a very big difference between Kingston Junk Station and Overgrowth. And the biggest difference is this ramp. That means high ground vision, means the Queens can shoot at your Mothership Core. And you need that Mothership Core, otherwise your Stalkers will get free hits all the time. That is one of the reasons why in Overgrowth I'm absolutely crazy about that Stalker pressure. On a map like this, I know that it's a tiny bit harder to make it work. But, It's 7 minutes and 45 seconds in this game, Nate, and Zerg is still on 2 bases, and I think most pros players will sign up for that.
I didn't like that little poke out there with those Zerglings. I feel like puCK could. Is there any way he could take advantage of that? Like maybe if he warped in Zealots, he could cancel the third. I don't know.
No, he's gonna try, I think, Nate.
I'm afraid. Oh, he did warp in Zealots.
Yep. One Pylon does get shot down though by these Zerglings, and don't underestimate Zerglings and Queens. Queens are a little bit out of position. Time Warp going down as well.
He's trying to block the Queens. That is a robotic force field of all those Stalkers. There, of course, the Zerglings can get a good surround, but those Zealots, man, kills the Mothership Core. Big pickoff.
Alright, and these Queens is actually still alive. A couple of Stalkers are going down as well. I still think it's an okay-ish trade for puCK, but he does end up losing the Mothership Core and 2 Stalkers, so it wasn't for free. And these Spine Crawlers, boy oh boy, is Slam happy that he made an investment once upon a time in these Spines. Otherwise, he could have lost a few more Zerglings. Now he's going to actually clean everything up. He's going to pick up this Stalker. He's going to get maybe this Pylon. But there are
puCK is transitioning into Colossus tech. Okay. I can dig it. These Zealots are going to get into some fisticuffs over here, keeping their backs against the wall against these Zerglings, but they will not be able to hold and not by themselves.
Pylon gets taken down as well eventually. I mean, puCK is still up 7. This is a really crazy PvZ scenario. I'm just kind of trying to, you know, understand everything that has happened.
Zerg's on 2 bases for so long. Weird stuff happens.
It's like a Zerg play that's on 2 bases for 7 minutes and 40 seconds and ends up losing a few Queens.
Is puCK fully walled off? He doesn't have a Zealot blocking anywhere.
Oh, he has so many force fields though.
Yeah, I'm just scared if he manages to slip through. Could get. Oh, yeah, it is a full. Oh, no, he slips in. Okay, sentries. There's the first force field.
Oh my god, it was a trap.
Wow.
Wow, that's just gross.
Oh my god.
Fuck, you are so good at this game.
I'm looking at this. I didn't even see the puzzle.
No.
And then as soon as those Zerglings are in, puCK's just like the final 2 pieces connect, and it's
that
like
is
wrecked.
Beautiful. That is actually a wrecked checkbox.
That's like the little finger trap, you know? It's like you pull both fingers in, and the index finger. It's like, oh, well, you can just pull them out. It's like, no, actually, you're stuck, and all those Zerglings die.
Very well done there. That's a nice little pickup. That's 16 to 18 links that puCK just picked up there for free. At the same time, he's going to try to harass with a Warp Prism. I'm not sure if this is the best place to harass.
Man, that's Spore up front, man.
Yeah.
Slam seems a little bit paranoid.
Spine, Spore, and the Queen and Zerglings. It's like, well, I believe in Zealots, but it's gonna be hard to make that one work. So a few roaches are on the way. This is still a really weird game because puCK's economy has been better than the economy of the Zerg for the longest amount of time. But I do feel that right now Slam has a minor economic advantage, of course, you know, fully saturating his third base quite a bit.
He's gonna get infestors. I think puCK's decision to go into Colossi, if he continues to produce Colossi against Ling Infestor, this is a great counter for puCK.
I know, puCK just needs to sit back until he has 170 supply and then he can march across the map and win. But Slam doesn't just want to stick on the Roach Ling Infestor, so he's already getting a Hive as well. Yeah, with the upgrades that he has, Ultras make perfect sense.
And puCK gets to scout this with his Warp Prism. He sees, okay, Infestation Pit. I guess he doesn't see Swarm Hosts coming out.
Well, actually, yeah, this could look like Swarm Host. To be honest, if I scout this, I would be worried about Swarm Host.
Yeah. Well, I guess either way it works because puCK's going to build Colossi, which kind of helps deal with both anyway.
But, of course, you know, Hive is going to help out with maybe giving him access to Vipers as well, you know, getting 1 or 2 Vipers.
Oh,
the good old 4 Zealots around. This has become so popular and it's so cool.
I want a cinematic of those 4 Zealots, like, jumping out and, like, you know what I mean? Like, with parachutes. And they surround the Queen. They surround the Queen. The Queen can't get out of there.
Yeah, I think this is something we have to see in a cardboard animation video.
I would upvote that.
I upvote everything of cardboard animation regardless. Those guys are awesome.
So
anyways,
Slams 2-2 is about to complete. Still making a lot of Zerglings.
Yeah,
puCK didn't see any Infestors though, right?
No, there are only 3 of them.
Yeah.
Ultra Infestor is of course very scary if you rely on your Colossus, but if puCK scouts this just some one time, maybe the hallucinate Phoenix, then I think puCK knows like, alright, I don't have to attack, I'm not going to attack, I'm gonna get double Robo, I'm gonna get a bunch of Archons, I'm going to get Immortals, Colossus. Did he just scout it? It's like he knows. Well, he's getting a double Robo already, so everything he's doing makes sense. He starts off an Immortal.
He hasn't seen the Ultralisk Cavern yet. Now the Infestors are going to try to get that Warp Prism.
I think what he did is he perhaps saw the links with his Phoenix and he clicked on it, he saw the upgrades, he's like, alright.
Warp Prism gets caught in that third base, but the Zealots can still drop out and kill drones anyway, which is nice.
It will kill a couple of them.
Like to get the Queen. Charge isn't done yet though, difficult to close that distance.
Alright, so but from this point on, the ball is still sort of in Slam's corner because puCK knows that he's gonna have plenty of time to get, you know, his immortals.
Oh, this is so
Archons.
smart. puCK's already building immortals. He's adding a second robotics facility. One of his immortals is derping at his wall, but it's okay. Look at this guy. It's like, well,
One day, immortal. Soon he gets so angry that
Zealot's
he
like,
shoots at the Zealot.
no, actually, you're still in timeout. You can't leave yet. Sorry.
I can make the difference. Zealot's like, nope.
The team needs me. It's like, no.
All right.
7, 8 spine crawlers on the way. Well, he's getting a lot of defense for those bases.
I really think he should get a Spire as well because you want to have the option. I think he's just been a little.
Oh
too
well,
broke for
the
that.
hallucinated Phoenix is on top of an Ultralisk, so
Yeah, but he already knew. Like he saw the upgrades, he saw the layer attack. Like puCK is good enough to know that this is exactly what he had to worry about. There are Vipers in the mix as well, so you can abduct a couple of Immortals or Colossus. Both is a fine decision in this phase in the game. But it's really important that I think Slam gets his Spire because I think eventually you want to have the option to go into Brute Lords just for one attack. You don't want to sit back on Brute Lords. But just one attack where Brute Lords can make the difference against Archons and Immortals could work out miracles.
yeah, I agree.
He's a little bit low on gas. I guess that's why he doesn't
He's
want to
low
do
on queens too, starting up 4 right now, but not a lot of energy banked up to actually get those transfusions.
it. Look at these
Only
upgraded
5
links.
ultras.
Oh my god, upgraded links kill Nexi so quickly. Well done there. And he's actually more link streaming
Yeah,
in.
he has adrenal glands. puCK's like, yeah, my +2 zealots are going to do work. But it's like, no, not really.
Nope.
Those adrenal gland zerglings, they do not mess around.
Man, that was one cancel and one actually kill on the Nexus. That's 500 minerals wasted, a couple of zealots wasted as well. Really well done there. And above all, he's slowing down the future economy of puCK. And it's still pretty inevitable that puCK will eventually get this 4th Nexus. Okay, there we do see the Spire go down as well. Could of course in a crazy world be for a Muda switch, but I would love to see him morph into a Great Spire immediately. This is going to be tricky for puCK. puCK is really good in this matchup, but I'm not sure how good he is in dealing with these crazy unit compositions of Infestors, Brute Lords and Vipers at the same time. Because that is a little different than your standard Roach Hydra or, you know, whatever you face.
A couple of these zealots get caught out with an Archon. They're going to clean up some lings and die.
Losing an Archon is not nice though.
Yeah,
Really
those are pretty good versus Ultras, I think, in straight up fights, right?
Yep, they add a lot. They add a lot against the Zerglings, they add a lot against the Ultras. Man, the Queen count is high.
Yeah, now he's built up quite a few, and they're going to start banking that energy up.
Should get a War Prism with 4 High Templars in it and just drop him and feed back the Infestors and then pick him up again.
The second highlight reel of the War Prism drops, huh? Well, puCK has 3 High Templar actually loaded in. There's so many spines. Look at like this infestation pit. Look, this is the most well-defended infestation pit I've ever seen.
Yep.
Unless he built it inside, like, unless it was surrounded by swarm hosts. Or ravens, I guess.
Alright. Ooh,
Good
fungal.
fungal. That's an expensive fungal.
Yep.
And he gets a feedback, but that's not what you're looking for. A lot of resources lost there.
Yeah. A for effort. The idea is really cool, but it's really hard to execute.
I think puCK needs to be.
I
think puCK needs to be a little bit worried. The only thing he has a Spire. So I think with how many Immortals puCK's built, if Slam can bank up enough resources and then make like an epic Muta switch, this could still get really tricky.
Yeah. It's not going to be Brute Lords, it's going to be Mutalisk because he's getting +1 before he goes into Great Spire. Definitely nothing wrong with that. Excellent choice. He even leaves some free supply. Like he's not making more. Like he's already putting money on this Muta switch. Because it's not like he's trying to win the game with these Ultras or so and stuff and the Vipers. No, he's actually leaving free supply, which he could be spending on Ultras. But he's like, nope, this is pretty much, you know, a few Ultras are not going to make the difference anymore. I want to get my Muta switch going, and I want this to be the most terrifying Muta switch of all time. And I want to bank up a lot of gas.
Yeah, at what point is Slam going to throw his forces into puCK, though, is what I'd really like to know, because I feel like at one point one of these guys has to start poking the other, at least.
I don't think that Slam wants to fight before he has like 4,000 gas. Yeah. Alright, now he makes 3 more Ultras. Okay, tiny bit surprised by that.
Yeah, that I did not expect.
Perhaps he's worried that he will get absolutely slaughtered in the fight. Because then, of course,
won't be able to, because then there's so many Archons left over. Look at this loosening Colossi, too.
Alrighty, this might be game time. A lot of Queens. There are a few Fungal Grows available as well, and there are Vipers.
Good spread on the Ultras. He Fungals half the army away from the other half. That's a bit complicated. The Fungal with Blinding Cloud looking pretty good so far. Got a reasonable number of feedbacks, but there's still some transfuses left on these Queens. The Immortals, how many are there left? 6 Immortals are going to rain hell upon these Ultralisks. But has he killed enough?
Actually, I do not think that Slam has killed enough. Now he's making 56 Zerglings and
7
7 more
Ultralisks.
Ultralisks.
Normally, I would say puCK going straight back into Immortal production is a bit silly, but he doesn't have to worry about any other tech.
Nope. It is actually just going to be more and more Ultras. I think all these Ultras will be able to clean it up. I'm actually surprised. I felt like there weren't that many Transfuses at last fight. There are still a couple of Colossus. Look at these Queens. The Queens are actually killing the Colossus. Zerglings, oh my god. Zerglings are killing the Immortals so quickly.
Good target fire, though, to try to kill
Yeah.
the Ultras. One of them does get transfused to safety.
Wow.
And puCK actually loses a lot.
What a bizarre fight. Yeah, look
Did
at
puCK I think puCK overextended a little bit there at the end of that fight.
puCK just lost everything against 2 Ultras and a couple of Zerglings and 7 Queens. That was bizarre. And
Yeah.
now the real wave of Ultras.
Reinforcements are about to come out. puCK's like, I really want to kill as much as I can before I have to take another fight, but his army is kind of caught out here.
And this is different, man. This changes the entire matchup. These Ultras are going to clean up everything. puCK is in so much trouble, losing Archons, losing Immortals, and Slam with a very cool strat, very cool execution of his build as well, is probably going to be able to do it over here. He's still up 80 supply. Great Zealot wall, though. Look at these Immortals just hammering
he's using
away.
these Zealots as if they're force fields for these Immortals, and he's also doing a great job of target firing with his Immortals to kill the Queens.
The human force field, it's a real thing.
Oh, man.
The bio force field.
I feel like I still want to believe that puCK has put himself too far behind with that counterattack, but he just bought himself a nice little bit of time. There's still Vipers in the field too, right? Yeah, 5 Vipers, 11 Infestors.
Yeah, like I felt like we didn't even see Abducts. Like Blinding Cloud is of course very good as well, don't get me wrong, but I think 1 or 2 Abducts on Immortals is actually excellent. There's really nothing wrong with that.
Oh, he's going to try to catch part of this army out. The rest of the Ultralisks are not here. The Infestors are coming though.
Yep, no, I think puCK is in trouble now. I think he's going to be forced to fight. I feel like this is not Slam's entire army, but it's still a very scary army. Blinding Cloud and Overgrowth.
Those Immortals rendered useless, and puCK drops below 100 supply.
Sick. Man, that's so well done. So many spellcasting units over there, and Slam is just making the best of it. Really doing a good job in combining Blinding Cloud and Fungo at the same time. Now we do see a Great Inspire go down as well. Has to be careful, you don't want to fight in like the worst choke point of all time, because a couple of Archons and Immortals. Now we see the Abducts being used. So sick.
Even with all these cannons,
Man,
even with all
Slam
these Immortals,
is so good.
This should not be holdable by puCK anymore. Infested Terrans are going to get thrown out on top of the 4th base of our Protoss player. And I think that's got to be it. puCK can't possibly hang on any longer.
What a cool game. What a cool series so far. Slam really giving us something to remember today. Whether he wins or loses the next game, I don't think it makes a difference. This time an Zerg is something cool as well, Nate. It's not just Sen anymore. They have a couple of good players over there, and Slam is definitely one of them. Abducts that final Immortal. It's so funny when they get abducted. And GG is called. And Slam is going to even things up after a 25-minute game on King Sejong Station, where he left his options open for the longest amount of time. And it looked like he was in a tiny bit of trouble early on, but he handled it well. Really good, just awesome execution of the actual engagement. The first engagement, it looked like he was in trouble, but he had so much money that he just, he followed it up with a lot of Ultras, which was a good decision in the end. We thought maybe Muta switch immediately, but hey, there were still like 6 or 7 Icons, so he's like, nope, I can clean this up with Ultras, so I'm going to do it. I'm richer than my opponent, so if I clean up his army now, then he's going to have a lot of trouble. This is the first fight. This fight went quite okay-ish for puCK, even though, for puCK. Even though the Fungals are really good and the Blinding Cloud was good once more. In the end, puCK still cleans up pretty much everything, but it's just the next wave of units. Just keep a close eye on the production tab.
Yeah, this was really, really interesting to see, mostly because I felt like with this army that puCK has right now, if he steps back from this position, he has a chance to recover and I think get enough gateway units to support another attack or at least defend him. But getting surrounded like this, and you said it, Roddy, those Queens target firing the Colossi did an incredible amount.
Yeah, and look at these Zerglings now and the Immortals. That's so crazy. Never seen Immortals, 4 Immortals die so quickly against a bunch of Zerglings. And
at this point, man, everything just fell apart. puCK, he did a reasonable job of defending. Like, he bought himself so much additional time that I honestly didn't think he was going to get with these Zealot Warpins, but it just was not enough.
Great game, really great game. It's another fun day of WCS America round of 32. If you guys have joined us only for like round 5 or 6, or I mean groups 5 or 6 I should say, and you keep hearing us say that we've really enjoyed this round of 32, hopefully just over the last few days you guys understand why, because this has truly been a phenomenal season. Every single day we are getting awesome games. And this is not, Nathan me trying to be like, oh my god, it's StarCraft, every game is the best game ever, and we're having so much fun. It's actually just been a really cool season.
It's been awesome. This has been my favorite season of WCS America by far. Some of my favorite players getting in, and of course, even if puCK does get knocked out here, Major still has a very realistic chance, of course, as he will be in our next series against Bomber. Like, how can you really root against anybody in this group?
I know.
I wanted to put like
even
Slam.
Is
I
like
wanted
winning
Slam.
my heart over here.
Yeah, I wanted him to be the underdog, but he's not playing boring styles. He's not doing anything. I think that's it makes you go like, oh, we have to wait to 3 hours Swarm host games. Like he's playing ball and he's doing it really well.
Yep, both players are ready, just double checking to see our final map of this best of 3 is going to be played on Nimbus. That's a very cool map for PvZ, and I think a map in general which should be okay-ish for puCK. I think it's very possible that we see something similar to what we just saw, because this is a map where often it's hard for either player to truly kill each other, so then you're going to have to make a decision, and it's really cool that Zerg players are becoming this good in this game, that they start using Ultralisk with Infestors, with Vipers, and also the Queens. Like, that is a lot of spellcasting that you have to take care of. That is really not an easy army to control. That is a different ballgame than 200 supply of Roach and shove it in.
Yeah.
That is actually very difficult, but it's really cool because obviously, in the old days you said like, Ultras in this matchup, Archon Immortal Colossus just completely wrecks it. Well, if you have Fungo and Blinding Cloud at the same time, it's a little bit of a different ballgame.
Yeah, really great army control displayed by this gentleman in the northwest position of Nimbus. Representing Yowie Flash Wolves, he is Slam. Very well played first map, of course. Our Protoss player in the top right, who still very realistic shot at bringing this match back in his best matchup by far in StarCraft 2. Representing IVD Gaming. In North Dakota, he is puCK.
Does North Dakota have any Premier League sports teams? I don't think they do, right?
I don't believe, as far as I'm aware,
I don't think
well, okay, so before someone calls me out and says they have like a hockey team, I don't know they have any like NFL teams. That's the only sport I follow in the US.
They don't have an NFL team, they don't have an NBA team, they don't have an NHL team. I don't think they have an MLB team. They probably have maybe some college sports, but they're like actually the best frisbee players in the world. Like North Dakota official dodgeball champions.
They are the world's greatest dodgeball players from North Dakota. Who would have guessed?
Like, hey,
South Dakota and North Dakota are like so competitive. They needed something to fight over. It's like, okay, we're both going to become the greatest dodgeball teams in the entire world, just to make sure we have something to hold against the other. Is he gonna? Oh, he's got this drone. Okay.
Since both states like border each other, obviously, maybe they're throwing like dodgeball across the border.
Instead of the line, it's just like if you cross the state border, you're out.
That sounds like fun. Someone should do that. Alrighty, so it's going to be hedge first over here on the right top side, or I mean on the left top side, but on the right side of the main for Slam. This could be okay. He's going to switch things up as well. It's a double hedge before pool against a gateway fast expand. If he doesn't get an extractor, he's kind of giving puCK. And puCK is scouting with a probe, by the way. He's kind of giving puCK an open invitation to put on some serious 3 or 4 gateway pressure after the Nexus goes down.
I want it. I want to see it, Roddy.
Yep. And then I don't care if it's going to be Zealots or Stalkers. I think both is effective. I just think if you play against a gasless Zerg, but it's not going to be a gasless Zerg. Okay. I always think this is kind of weird because you go double hedge before pool, but then you also sacrifice 4 drones to mine gas. I feel it's almost counterproductive, and I don't think that you get a massive economic advantage from opening up like this, or just going hedge first, then pool and gas, and then get this hatchery a little bit later, because you can't spend all the lava anyway.
Yeah, it's an interesting way that these two builds can clash. I would still like to see that early Stalker pressure either way. Cool tweet from Newegg. Even they're getting excited up in the hashtag WCS-ness.
Are they getting all the love?
I think they're getting the love, man.
You have to remind me, Nate. You have to actually order my mothership. No, not my mothership.
Your mothership.
I keep saying that. No, I have to order my motherboard.
You play too much Protoss, Roddy.
I know. I have to order my motherboard. I would love to order a mothership as well.
If I could get a mothership
from Newegg,
if I had to switch to Protolife mothership, I would.
No, I have quite a few parts from a new PC. I still need like 2 or 3. Anyway, we'll take care of it tonight. All right. So
this is the Stalker pressure that we were asking for, right?
Yeah.
I love this.
But it's different now. He can't overstep his boundaries. It would actually be bad for puCK to make 4 gateways. because speed will be ready eventually, and then he's like delaying his Twilight.
Well, he's gonna see it. His Stalker comes in, so now he knows that
this is
speed's
really
on the way.
important.
Still
This
ambitious.
So important. Ooh, the Stalker might get surrounded.
Run!
So close.
No!
Yep.
Buddy, back him up. Open the doors. Let him out.
Oh.
Oh, great pickoff for
Stalker's
Slam.
like, man, I knew I shouldn't have gone to in and out last night. Like, that double is killing me.
The size of that was just enough to block him from getting out.
Yep. Otherwise.
Twilight Council on the way. Is he just gonna go straight Blink, you think?
Or Dark Templars.
Either way would be kind of interesting. This Overlord's gonna get in though. I think he's gonna see this Twilight Council and be like, maybe I should build a Spore Crawler or two.
Yep.
He went very fast, defensive spines and Spore on the last map as well.
Two Stalkers are going to snipe this Overlord, but not before that Ovi has indeed confirmed that, like you said, there is a Twilight. And that's going to make it a little harder if he wants to go for Dark Templars now. It could also, like, I must say, I find it a little scary. This is a very good map to go up to 3 bases in general, but with these spawning locations, Nate, I find it a little bit scary, because like normally you take your turret over here as a Protoss, but I'd be a tiny bit worried to do it. I also feel that this blink is slightly quicker than how puCK normally gets it, so puCK might be trying to pull an Arium over here and just go for a 2-gate blink stalker, or 2-base blink stalker with no forge, no additional transitions whatsoever.
I think,
just 2 bases and a lot of gateways and a lot of blink stalkers.
Maybe puCK in between the games, he was watching that first series, he heard us joke about Arium's blinks. He's like, you know what? I can do him one up. I can do my own mega blink attack. puCK's blinks are pretty good, so this could work.
Very good. So far it's 3 gateways. This doesn't mean anything yet, but if you see gateway number 4, 5, 6, and 7, even number 8, then I think it will mean something. Okay. He's teasing us, Nate. He's building up the tension. Of course, a really important game for puCK and other puCK fans out there. I still believe that puCK can play much better against Terran as well. So if he wins this series, he still has a shot in making it to the next round. However, I think that the Terrans will probably prefer playing against puCK than instead of playing against Slam, because Slam looked really good in that first series of the day against Bomber.
Yeah, he did. I think Slam has the potential to to bring things back if he gets into a final match against either Major or Bomber. This is a crazy important series for both players.
Yep.
These Zerglings don't really have much that they can do. Probe would love to take a 3rd base, but denying that is just enough, I think, already.
It's kind of a late 3rd base for Nimbus, I must say, especially because this is not a Stargate opening or something. It's like a 9-minute 3rd base.
He still has no Forge, by the way, so is he trying to lead him on that he's getting a 3rd? I don't know. Wait, he's going to start the Nexus.
He's on 50 workers.
Just the lack of any Forges makes me nervous.
Doesn't he have one? He has a Forge.
Oh, okay, he did get one. Okay.
Yeah. So I think he's still going to throw this into a macro game, or turn this into a macro game, but he's a tiny bit behind. I think normally puCK does all these things a little bit quicker, but it doesn't really matter because he's so good with blink stalkers, he can definitely still make the difference. And of course, that early game pressure didn't really work out. The worker count is currently 63 against 52, and those are 52 probes on only 2 bases. The Overseer gets a very good scout up in the main base, so Slam knows everything that's going on. I really think that this is going better for Slam than it is for puCK, but I also think that puCK is not that worried yet, just because, you know, he's so good with his army composition in general and in this matchup that he should be able to still turn it into a real game. And again, we have the melee carapace upgrades, by the way, or Zerg melee attack upgrades, I should say.
Yeah, it worked well for him last time. I think if he could pull it off again.
Very different though, because like with these spawn locations, I think it's easier for Immortals and Icons to get a better fight and maybe quicker as well.
Yeah, that I'll agree with. Yeah.
I mean, obviously not if they fight like over
in the open and he gets fungled and blinding clouded. Well then,
but if you stand
then
on
I like
top of a ramp
Ultralisks
like
and
this.
Zerglings every day.
Couldn't agree more, Nate. So what do you think?
It's a later 3rd. You kind of said it on maps like this. We typically see more greed. There's a lot of Zerglings. They're going to try to bypass this army. There's not really a lot of Zealots. So if they can get on top of this army, especially once that 1-1 completes, then I start to get a little bit worried for puCK. But his army is still, you know, it's pretty gas intensive. It's a nice, expensive, good army.
There's a pylon over here on the left side of the map at 9 o'clock that's going to try to deny this 4th base of Slam. He's getting close, but okay, he's going to be able to cancel it for now. So well done, a job well done there. That's a 300 mineral investment that I think is worth it in this phase in the game. At the same time, he's also pushing creep back a little bit, so kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. This is all stuff that's going pretty well. I think puCK has a pretty good idea that he's playing against. Ooh, that's way more Infestors than we saw last game. And he was aware of it as well. He's like, all right. Infestors are good enough, but this is not Wings of Liberty. I don't think I need 7.
I don't need the repeat rate that high on my keyboard for that. Picks off a few lings out in the center of the map. Roach speed is coming in. I guess roaches are kind of like a panic unit. I don't think he actually wants to build roaches.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a transition unit.
Might as well have roach speed just in case, you know, there were 15 gateways on the map somehow.
Yep, just in case after that OC died, 6 more gates were being wiped in, and he's actually about to attack me, and I have nothing. Oh, he gets a surround on the Immortal, and he gets actually an Immortal for all these Zerglings, and one happy little Zergling somehow makes it into the main base. No. Wait, that's an okay trade, I think.
I still like Slam's position in this game a lot.
It's just like a bunch of Zerglings for an Immortal.
What does puCK do? I guess he's going to try to attack. He has a recall available, which is nice. There's not a lot of creep on the south side of that fourth, and he does have a pylon in position.
Yep. And denying a 4th base is also very nice. Let's not forget that in the last game, Slam was very, very rich, and it would be nice to keep him in check a little bit. I feel like Slam is picking up on the fact that puCK is going to try to do this. There is force fields, there is 2 Immortals, and a lot of Blink Stalkers, but it's only +1. I'm not sure if puCK's going to be able to get it. Well, he gets a cannon to keep that pylon alive. Going to wipe in a few more Blink Stalkers. And he forces the cancel without even actually fighting, without having to commit to a fight. Ooh, 1 more Immortal gets caught out of position in transition. That's the 2nd one already. You want to be careful with stuff like that. Big recall.
Yep, bringing the whole army back. Just quite nice, because he accomplished the goal of delaying that fourth, and these Stalkers are going to try to put on some additional pressure as well.
Of course, you could say that Slam has also accomplished the goal of forcing puCK to go back home and buying time for his Ultralisk.
Yeah, that's also true. The Hive has been done for a while. The Ultralisks are coming out now. Needs to start chitinous plating, of course. Whoa! Almost gets on top of those High Templar before they can merge.
It's going to be hard to attack into a Zerg that has so many fungals available.
And look at this. puCK moves out, and he's like, well, okay, I'm going to move out again, too.
Yep.
That's how it's got to be. That Mothership Core is very far from the army as well.
Yeah, but there's nothing that shoots up.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he can't recall his army back that quickly.
That's good. I thought you were worried about the roaches shooting down the Mothership Core. I was like, well, Nate.
You know, the Zerg might have the hive mind, but those roaches still don't know how to get on each other's shoulders to kill stuff that's above them.
Once again, puCK is going to be able to cancel this port hatchery on the left side of the map. But there are a lot of Ultralisk out. There are Vipers out on the map as well. Roaches will just be annoying and tank a lot of damage, I guess. That's pretty much their only purpose. They still push out a little bit of damage, even without attack upgrades.
Yeah, look at all these spines. You really don't want to attack into this, and Ultras, and Fungal.
Oh my
and
God.
Now,
it's like,
that's... do you really... Is it possible to have an army with this much supply? it's like, well, that's a lot of Archons.
Like
but... if he fungals the wrong Archons, then things get tricky.
And Archons are big, of course. So
they spread the army out. Even if
2 Ultras are dying before the fight even starts.
Even if he knows, even if he can see that they're hallucinations, they spread the army out against the Fungals and the Blinding Clouds. Roaches and Lings are coming from behind. There are the Fungals. There are the Blinding Clouds. These Ultralisks, though, they are beginning to die, but all the sentries are gone, and the rest of this Zerg army is able to get on top of puCK's forces.
Yeah, these Roaches are actually game changers. What a beautiful engagement there by Slam, bringing in all the Roaches from the right side. Landing Fungals and Blinding Cloud again on top of this army. A couple of Blink Stalkers will be able to get away and escape the wrath of this Protoss army, but for now, I think that was a pretty good victory for Slam. If we take a look at the unit's last resource tab, we can see that our Protoss lost 1,700 resources more this game, and they're both on 3 bases.
Yeah, I'm really worried for puCK now. I think Slam, whether or not he wants to take a 4th base, puCK's taking a 4th base. I don't know how he's going to be able to hold on to that. puCK's rebuilding his force. Is he really just going to try to make this push just Zealot Stalker?
I think he's just trying to buy time.
Oh, he's got 3 more Immortals.
Yeah, I think he's okay. All right. Let's change things a little bit, but he has to be so careful because he lost a lot of Archons in that last fight, and the Zerglings are suddenly a real threat again. Because the Zerglings have way better upgrades. It's 2-2 against just 2-0 Zealots now.
Especially if he gets fungled and he can't blink his Stalkers back.
Yep, and let's not forget, we're even in upgrades now, so these Zerglings are suddenly quite okay, even against Zealots.
Ah, this Immortal, you're very brave.
The
the Queen is like right out there by his own. I was like, man.
This is that one
Zergling counter, especially over towards this base on the right side. Does puCK have any Zealot weapons to save it? Okay, he's going to weapon some Templar. I like an Archon. Oh, there's sentries. Ah, I guess the force field of Zergling's off the Nexus.
Kind of silly force fields. Oh, I guess in the end it worked.
Hey, if it works, man.
It really feels like there should be a lot of surface area here, but I guess there's not. More Zerglings streaming in though. These Zerglings still have far superior upgrades.
But puCK's main army is coming back.
I think this Nexus is still going to die. They have so much DPS. It's gonna die.
Close. Great pickoff for Slam. I mean, his fourth base is only just restarted again, but now he's cleaning up the pylons that are out there on the map. Cleans up a few more lings. This game, man.
Oh, this series, you mean, Nate?
Oh, Immortal got rallied out there too. Another one just died. puCK has accidentally lost maybe like 4 or 5 Immortals
throughout this game. Keeps being that one guy on your Heroes of the Storm team is like, hey team, let's go. And you're like, no. And then he goes.
It's like, no, man, I can do this, guys. This character's OP. Don't worry.
Like, damn it. Like, no, you're not an actual Ro32. Come back.
You're not that good. Oh, this is actually a really nice grab. Kill his Mothership Core. Nice recall back. He realizes he wants to keep some energy on it. I like these pylons up front. He's trying to block the pathing on these Zerg units.
Yeah, that's very smart. This is still going to be really scary because these Zealots are kind of wasted supply. They're really not that good. Fungals will again go down. The combination of Fungals and Blinding Cloud, I've really seen it used that many times. We've seen it today. The Immortals are pushing out a lot of damage though. Do we have Queens? Do we have Transfuse?
The Blinding Cloud's been really messing with them though. The Stalkers get hit by the Ultras, and now, are there enough forces left over to cover for these Immortals? I don't think so, Roddy.
Just 4 or 5 Ultralisks left.
More
there are 2 Immortals though.
As long as he keeps targeting, man, Immortals, I believe in the power.
Yep, you need to micro your Immortals though a little bit there, and there you go, puCK. Good transfuses as well by Slam. It's still close. Slam has more supply, but I think slightly more works as well. Like, no, that's actually not the case. But I guess he has a lot on the way. These Zerglings are actually so scary. They're so intimidating. I think that Slam has pretty much done it.
Yeah, Slam wants to move on to the final match of the day and eliminate puCK from WCS America. He's at 160 supply. 5 more Ultralisks are on the way, and puCK, without his 4th base, he's running out of money to fund the war.
I am really, really impressed by Yowie Flashwolf Slam over here, the Taiwanese Zerg player. This is his first time in WCS America Premier League. He's making his debut, and he's doing something that Zerg players like Jaedong, like Hyun, like Violet have failed to do in the past, and that is defeat puCK in PvZ, or in CVP I should say. And did he do it in style? It wasn't even like a couple of build order wins or something. The way that he controls all those spellcasters, the way that he reads the game, and the way that he relies on the power of the Ultralisk is just phenomenal.
Yeah, truly incredible. I feel like half of these fights, if you don't have the Blinding Clouds and the Fungals hit at the same time, that Zerg player loses every single time.
Yep. But he has pretty much done it.
Truly phenomenal play by Slam.
Really, well deserved. Absolutely well deserved. He's not there yet, as of course Immortals and Archons are still very good against Ultras, but it just feels like it's going to be so difficult for puCK to turn this around. Now we have Vipers as well, so Abducts can be used again. There you go, on Immortal number 1, and there you go, Immortal number 2. Even the Ultralisk is like a force field on the ramp. Sick. I'm super impressed, Nate. I'm actually blown away. I find it, wow, I've really been so surprised. I think this is, I just didn't see this coming.
No, I did not see this coming either. More Abducts being used to pull these units out, and puCK.
Man, way to make a fan favorite.
Man, puCK put on quite a show today. I'd still say phenomenal play on his part, but Slam just bedazzling, I think, all of us with this wonderful control of his late game army.
Yep, and just entertaining playstyle as well. The swarm is very real. It's Zerglings, Roaches, Queens, Vipers, Infestors, and Ultralisk. This is, I think this is the way that David Kim had Zerg in mind. It's just awesome how to see this come to life. One more Immortal will pop. GG is called by puCK, and good luck in the rest of the tournament. Very well managed, of course. Definitely an upsetting defeat for puCK, because if you look at it on paper, this is something that you could say this was a doable group, and not impossible. You know, you didn't get Hero and Tasia in your group. But man, Slam might actually be just... I mean, that would be unfair to say, because he doesn't have the same achievement, but what a performance by Slam. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, great play by Slam. I don't think I have too much else to add to that. Didn't have to do anything too weird. He had like that one fancy maneuver, and that's something that people talk about. They're like, oh, you know, hypothetically, if you can fungal him, his army can't move, and then the Blinding Cloud doesn't let him shoot. Like, yeah, but that's really, really difficult to do. And here we saw Slam make it look easy.
I mean, it's something that we've seen once, but I often only see it when Zergs are really far ahead. You know, it's like one of those games where it's like 145 supply of Archon Immortal, and then Zerg is like 200 supply, 6 bases, creep everywhere. It's like, yeah, very fancy, you know, like.
You go for some style points.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, you know, like slow clap. But this is actually, these were game-winning moments where he dropped those fungals, dropped those blinding clouds, and I've rarely seen it being used like this. Just good stuff, really, really cool stuff.
Yeah. So that means we have 2 more series left tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have our winners match up next. It's going to be a Terran versus Terran series between Major and Bomber. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. You're watching WCS America Premier League, powered by Newegg.com.